Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you along on a cook with me, just cooking throughout the day what we are making for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We just got in from doing our morning chores, milking the goats, moving the chicken coop. We did plant one of our beds with some greens and radishes, and we are having a nice rainy day to hopefully get those seeds sprouting very soon. Our yard is a huge mess because we are removing the giant tree between the house and the cottage to make way for some landscaping. We basically live in a forest, and so we actually need to get a little bit of sunlight so that we can grow our garden and grow landscaping. Right now, everything is shaded. So we are excited to remove this. It'll give us a better view of the cottage. And now I'm going to start working on my sourdough sandwich rolls in order to make a meatball sub. This is a recipe I am testing out. I've tried it a few different ways and I'm trying to get it just right. It's always edible, so even if I have to tweak this recipe, it will be good for lunch. So I'm going to make some meatball subs. Last night in the evening, I got going in my mixer with the dough hook, a half a cup of sourdough starter, a cup of water, 3 cups of bread flour, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. The recipe is going to call for honey. I just don't have any honey that's liquid right now. I need to heat up some of my crystallized honey that I have. I put it on the back of the stove, and now we have this bubbly bowl here. Now, I did want this to be quite a hydrated dough, although it is looking quite wet, so I might reduce the water content. For today, I'll probably just add a little bit of water, or maybe it'll work when it comes together in the mixer, so we will see. Now, this morning for breakfast, we did soaked oatmeal. If you aren't familiar with soaking, it's sort of the same reason why you do sourdough. To traditionally prepare grains, they are usually soaked or fermented in some way to make the grains more digestible, to neutralize some of the phytic acid that is on grains. So that is what we did with our oatmeal. Last night, I added to a large bowl 4 cups of oats, 4 cups of filtered water, and about a half of a cup of yogurt. You can use anything acidic like kefir, apple cider vinegar. I do find that unless you want to rinse the oats to get off any of the sour taste, that the yogurt produces the most mild soaked oatmeal, doesn't really give it a sour taste. And then this morning, I added it to a large stock pot with about 4 cups more water and just cooked it until it was nice and soft. I also always add salt to my oatmeal. In a separate pot, I made a berry syrup. I really love making this. This is kind of something I'm just really into lately. It'll also be great when berries are ripe, something to utilize a lot of berries. So we live in an area where a lot of berries are growing. We don't have berries growing here just yet. We do have some started from last year, but we do live close by a lot of you-pick berry places, and so we end up doing a lot of that just because it's really fun. And so berry syrups are a really delicious way to use them up. So I just added a bag of frozen strawberries with a little bit of water to a saucepan and cooked it with the lid on until it got nice and soft. Blended it up with my immersion blender, added some maple syrup. And then swirled that into the oatmeal with a little bit of cream to do like a strawberries and cream oatmeal. I also always add some butter. It melts in and just makes it so delicious. Today's Cook With Me video is brought to you by Thrive Market. I love ordering natural and organic groceries from Thrive Market straight from the website to my doorstep. You can shop by diet if you're paleo or gluten-free or dairy-free. For me, I prefer to buy organic items on there that I have a hard time finding, maybe specialty items or seasonings that just aren't at my local grocery store. We don't live in an area with Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's. They're about an hour away. So I can access that stuff really easily by shopping on Thrive Market. I just go into my recent orders and purchase a lot of the same things over and over again, like my einkorn flour, organic pasta sauces, nuts, dried fruit, a few household type of things, seasonings, all really easy to get on there. I also get my supplements like magnesium and prenatal vitamins. Thrive Market is a membership site, so you can either pay for the year and get a discount, or you can just pay month to month, get familiar, see if there's anything on there that is a better deal than what you currently have access to try it out and see if you like it. If you are a brand new Thrive Market customer, they are offering you 25% off your first order plus a free gift. So that's a really great deal, especially if there's some things that you need to stock up on. I forgot to set out my butter, so while I'm waiting for my butter for my sourdough sandwich rolls to come to room temperature, I'm going to also get some sourdough dinner rolls going. I still haven't decided if we're doing the soup I have planned for today for lunch or if we're doing the meatball subs for lunch. It kind of just depends on when I get everything done. But I'm gonna make sourdough dinner rolls for the soup. So I'm going to mill up some fresh whole wheat in order to make a whole wheat sourdough dinner roll. Sometimes to make these a little fluffier, I cut them with half unbleached all-purpose. I think this time I'm just going to do straight whole wheat, and we will enjoy those with our soup. I doubled my usual sourdough dinner roll recipe, so I added to my mixer 5 cups of flour, a half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of melted butter, a cup and a half of water. Now usually I mix these first, that way the hot butter doesn't hit the sourdough starter and kill any active cultures. And then I add in a cup of fresh sourdough starter and a teaspoon of salt. And then just knead it until it's elastic, divide it, allow it to rise. Now you could do a first rise and a second rise depending on if you're doing this for dinner or lunch. I think I'm gonna do this for dinner, so I'm gonna allow it to rise once, then divide and do the second short rise until they are fluffy. This gives you more long fermented benefits. But if you are in a hurry, you can make these rolls happen really quickly by putting them on top of your oven with it lit, or in my case lit, but in your case just on, and it creates a nice warm spot for them to rise really rapidly. I've done this if I have less than 2 hours to dinner time and I want sourdough dinner rolls. This is a way that you can do it really quickly. I'm not even going to wash my mixer. I'm just going to straight into making my sourdough hoagie rolls right in the same mixer by adding in a 1/4 cup of room temperature butter. I added 4 tablespoons of room temperature butter to my sourdough dough for the sourdough sandwich rolls from the night before, as well as a teaspoon and a half of salt, and just kneaded that until it came together. And then divided the sandwich rolls into 8 equal parts and flattened each one out and rolled it up to make the dinner roll shape. For the meatballs, I combined 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 eggs, a handful of flour, I don't really measure, and a little bit of salt just to taste, some spices. Today I used thyme and sage, and then shaped them into the meatballs and baked them for about 20 minutes or so. And then added some marinara sauce, topped the sandwich rolls with mozzarella and fresh Parmesan cheese, and they were really delicious. After rising for about an hour or until doubled, I slashed it with a razor just like I do with my sourdough bread, and then baked it at 375 degrees for 20 minutes. This afternoon, I'm going to get started on my chicken gnocchi soup. So I got some russet potatoes going in the oven until done. I got a chicken going in the oven as well. Now, a lot of times I make chicken in the Instant Pot, but I do have time today since it's just the afternoon nap time here at our home. And so I have a little bit more time to cook. I'm also going to dice up some celery, a couple carrots, onion, and garlic for my soup. I just added the veggies to a little bit of butter and olive oil and sauteed them a bit. To that, I added about 1/4 cup of flour, some milk and cream and homemade bone broth, and just simmered it until it thickened up. To make the gnocchi, I scooped out the inside of a couple of baked potatoes, added some ricotta and flour and fresh Parmesan cheese and an egg. This was my first time making this, but it was so good in the soup. It really is a wonderful touch. I love it whenever there is something like a dumpling or a noodle or something with a grain in a soup. It really makes it a bit more filling and just delicious, of course. I boiled the gnocchi in some salted water and then added it to my soup along with some chicken from the chicken that I baked earlier this afternoon. I added some sliced spinach and served it with a sourdough dinner roll. Super delicious, comforting for these spring days, especially a good way to add some greens to your diet whenever greens are fresh. I do hope to try and make the recipe with only einkorn flour. So I have not tried that just yet, but I am excited to give it a try to recreate this soup, but with einkorn. But since this was my first time trying it in my kitchen, I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, thank you to Thrive Market for sponsoring it. If you are not yet a Thrive Market customer, make sure to visit the link in the description below to get 25% off of your first order and a free gift. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make 2 new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.